Folks, there are a lot of annoying things in this world. I would have to say that my top five are simple. Commies, simps, God, they're insufferable. Shippers, and I'd have to say number 4, vegans. Is there any situation that has ever been improved by the presence of vegans?
No.
I can't think of exactly even one.
Those who did not indulge in the tasty fried chicken are heathens.
Damn right.
Exactly.
I just fucking love meat.
As you should. So this particular episode of On the Grind, we got a section for all you meat eaters. Plus, we're going to be discussing the new Netflix City Hunter film. We'll be talking about Helldivers hell diving into, well, lower player numbers. And then, on top of that, Tom King being an idiot. This is going to be an episode. This is going to be an interesting episode, to say the least. So, with that said, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to On the Grind.
Frick.
Alrighty. So for our weekly review this week, we have Xavier taking the lead on this one. If you couldn't tell by his avatar, he is a big fan of City Hunter. And there was a Netflix adaptation, so Xavier, how good / bad / what the fuck was this?
Okay, it is really, really, really good. It is, for those of you who don't know, City Hunter isn't just a movie that Jackie Chan was in the 1990s where he dressed up as Chun-Li from Street Fighter. That movie is also based off of the anime and manga called City Hunter, which is about Ryo Saiba and his friends who kind of run a sort of armed private detective agency. They'll pretty much do anything, but they kind of get locked into item retrieval, bodyguard duty, or missing persons. And Ryo is a dangerous motherfucker. He is extremely accurate. He's a superb crack shot. He's also a very lovable goof. And a lot of the humor comes from him perving on girls and his partner, Calorie, who's like his best friend's little sister, cracking him upside the head with a sledgehammer. It's great. When I first saw the promotional images for the movie, I was a little concerned that because they look fantastic, but it's Netflix. I thought they may just turn City Hunter into a bland action story because I could very well see them doing that. I was afraid they were going to take all of the humor out of City Hunter because City Hunter is, just as much humor and slapstick as it is action and excellent storytelling. But sure enough, as you can see by this, by that panel there, that's on screen, the action is there, but there's also a lot of comedy. Like in this fight, it's a really good fight. Ryo rips a dude's belt off, flicks it at a guy like a whip, wraps around his ankle, tugs on it, and makes that dude kick another guy in the nuts. In like one fluid motion. It's fucking great.
Okay, that's really inventive. I have to give him props for that.
Right. He's fighting like 6 dudes at once. And it's fucking phenomenal. This is actually a retelling of the Sea Hunter's earlier stories in that his best friend is killed. This is a little bit of spoilers, but this is like the first 5-10 minutes of the movie. And this was on the night of his little sister's birthday. His little sister comes to Ryo, like, you were his best friend, you were his partner, you have to help me find the guy that killed my brother. And he's telling her, no, I'm not. And you need to stay out of this world. Because he is already trying to find what happened, but he doesn't want her involved because he also deals in the world with, he interacts with Yakuza, he interacts with mercenaries, dangerous killers. and he is well known throughout Shinjuku as the man they call City Hunter. That's his code name. And Yakuza bosses, he's on a first name basis with them. He goes to their private clubs, and they just let him in. And I was a little surprised by the story because it kind of tugs at some things that are like later in the comic story. And they just did an animated movie that touches on a similar subject, which is a prototype enhancement drug for soldiers called angel dust. And it's being flooded into the streets. It's making people go crazy, get really, really strong, break shit, and then they die from it. And Rio's winds up involved in the investigation of what's happening. The fights are really, really good. The humor is ridiculous. At one point, Rio pulls Kaori, that's the girl's name, into a club. Like, I'm going to show you my world and why you need to stay out. And so he's performing a stripper show in front of everyone and being absolutely ridiculous to confuse her so that he can slip away. Because this is also a front for a Yakuza den. Like I said, it is very fun. The chemistry between the actors is really good. I would say the dub is pretty good. The voice actor for Rio in Japan for the anime is the same voice actor for one of the Getter pilots, Ryoma.
Really?
And yes, and he loves playing Rio Seiba. I remember a few years ago him posting that he just wants to play him again. And then the anniversary movie was released, and it did so well that they decided to do a brand new animated movie. And it's supposed to be like the last animated movie. That if they're going to do more, it'll probably be in a different continuity. Or they would just do something new. I personally highly recommend the movie. I think everyone should go see it. I love City Hunter. Rio Seiba is kind of like my personal hero, in that he gets the job done. He's very good at what he does, and as much as he wants to get the girl, and as smooth as he can be sometimes, he's a goof. And he never gets the girl. But that's okay, because he's having fun along the way.
So, question. So this is a film. It's made in Japan with Japanese actors.
Yes.
As opposed to... Okay, so it's not... For those of you listening to this or watching this isn't the normal Netflix adaptation where they're like with Cowboy Bebop, where they're taking, a beloved idea and then turning it into Seinfeld.
Sounds like they're localizing the product,
Yeah.
which is surprising.
And they produced it, so they did pay for a chunk of it. Now, there's been a lot of live-action City Hunter movies the last couple of years. The French adore City Hunter, and they released him as Nicky Larson. And the outrageous slapstick joke of Kaori mashing him in the face with a sledgehammer, that made it like one of the regular antics in the movie. There was a 2015, I think, adaptation in Japan where it was full of the prettiest boys that Japan could find. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong. It could be a Korean adaptation. But everyone was way too fucking pretty to be in this movie.
Oh, God. They're literally too pretty to fight?
I don't know. I didn't see it. I've only seen the poster for it.
Oh.
Well, ultimately, I think I'm always interested about hearing about these Netflix adaptations, because I'm curious about how it's coming. Because Netflix, whenever it comes to stuff from Japan, I feel like they're at like 50-50. They'll do something really fucking stupid, like they did the Death Note movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They did that. They did. Then they redubbed Evangelion when Evangelion didn't need to be fucking redubbed.
And nobody asked for that.
Yeah. Which I still thankfully have my box set, the platinum edition. So I've still got the original ADV dub. But so they did that. Nobody asked for it. Then they did, and then of course there's Cowboy Bebop. But on the flip side, in the world of anime, they got Bastard. And not only did they get Bastard, they didn't fuck around with Bastard. They let Bastard be Bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they.
Bastard is actually like all the things that Bastard is supposed to have that I didn't expect, like the fucking heavy metal soundtrack, the references. They're like, you know exactly what they're supposed to be.
Oh yeah,
and the names like, Bastard is a dark fantasy that references heavy metal. Like, they talk about, King Osborne has fallen, now only the Judas Priests can save the country of Metallica.
Yeah, it's glorious. So I'll have to do, one of us will have to review Bastard at some point. But yeah, they kept Bastard as Bastard. I mean, the opening of the fucking it has like one of the best anime openings ever. They use a great song by Cold Rain called "Bloody Power of Fame," and it basically tells you exactly what you're in for: heavy metal, violence, and babes. That's basically it. It's great. And then I hear they did really well with that One Piece adaptation.
Yeah, because what's his face? Goodness, the creator, he stayed on them the whole time.
Oda.
Whole time. Oda, yes.
As you should, in my opinion.
He basically, because that was one of his extended breaks, if I remember correctly. Because you know how they are with manga. Like, it comes out every week, and you get like a break here and there. He took like a whole month break to make sure they did it right. He went to the set and everything. Like
anything he asked them to change or reshoot, they did it.
Yeah. Because he does.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if I remember, he's one of those few creators who has final say on everything. So,
which is smart, and like we know, trust me, there are 3 IP owners inside of this podcast, so we know quite well how important it is to hold on to your fucking property.
Yeah.
So, so definitely a thumbs up, Xavier, on this one.
Absolutely, you should go watch it. It's on Netflix. Everyone has Netflix.
Well, not everybody, but
Netflix and
Yeah.
shit.
As I, say,
I will soon.
I don't currently, and there's a certain French film that's on there that I'm none too happy about, and I think we all know the one. So
Yeah.
If you can't catch it on Netflix, that's okay. Go to Retro Crush and watch the City Hunter anime. It's definitely worth your time.
Yes.
This is not an ad. Go watch City Hunter.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. So our first topic of the week.
Ooh.
So Wayne actually mentioned this in our company Discord server, and the instant I saw who he wanted to talk about, I knew not to click the link because I want to hear you go off on this guy because we all fucking hate Tom King here.
Mm-hmm.
So Wayne, Tom King is a very
Batman
dumb
be
man.
happy?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I don't know if Batman's capable, but please tell us about the dumb thing that Tom King has done this fucking time.
Okay, well, to give anybody some background who don't know, but I'm sure your audience, your previous audiences will know because you and Hatman used to dog on him regularly, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah.
Tom King is a moron who somehow weaseled his way into a job at DC Comics to write superheroes, which he has no business doing because he has a tendency to write his own neuroses into the characters he's working on. The classic was I remember one of the best things that was ever said to Tom King. He was there. It was a panel, and Frank Miller was there, and he was talking about trying to explain his methods of how he writes, and he says, you need to try to put a little bit of yourself into each thing you do, and to show that that they're this and they're that and they're human and blah blah blah. And Frank Miller says, Batman is a billionaire who goes out and fights crime. Why would he want to be you?
Fucking cold.
Right?
God, I love Frank Miller.
It's just like, that's so matter of fact. Why would he want to be you? I'm like, I think everybody says that about Tom King. Nobody wants to be Tom King. Tom King doesn't want to be Tom King. That's why he writes the way he does. But his current thing he has done, he's currently writing Wonder Woman, and I think we all know, as soon as anybody heard that was happening, it was going to be an unmitigated disaster, because that's what Tom King does. Mm-hmm. Granted, I think, Mike and I have discussed this, and we kind of agree. When he first started his run on Batman, it was actually pretty good. It wasn't terrible. And then the wedding came, and then everything went downhill. And then, the neuroses that Tom King puts in his characters started showing up even more. Let me give you an example from a previous issue before I get into the one we're going to talk about. Diana was talking to Steve Trevor, right? About, she was recently, apparently she had gotten incarcerated or something like that. And in her cell was a rat. And apparently she made friends with the rat. And during that time, they were trying to starve her and things like that, which is kind of weird that an immortal princess could starve, but what do I know, right? I'm not Tom King. I can't figure these things out. So she was talking about this rat, and she kept, she noticed as she was getting hungrier and hungrier, she would tell the rat, "You need to go away. Get away from me. Go away. I don't want to do what I think I might do." And well, after a while, she ended up eating the rat, right? And then the most cringe thing I have ever heard uttered from Wonder Woman's mouth was said. She looks at Steve Trevor and she goes, "Steve, I think I liked it."
Oh, for fuck's sake!
What the fuck?
Yes.
They made her. Oh my god!
Made her eat a rat and then like it.
Yeah.
Oh my, she's a fucking princess. How can you do that?
I'm just thinking to myself, it's like, just the stupidity of trying to starve Wonder Woman. Like,
right?
What happens?
You can't starve, dude.
I was going to say, it's like you check in on her 30 days later, she's just sitting there at her cell, she's like, "You gonna open this yet, or do I have to barge my own way out? What the fuck, dude?"
Yeah.
Like, what?
I mean, I think it's established in...
You stand there looking still... Looking like a goddess.
Yeah. I think it's established in DC that both Wonder Woman and Superman do not need to eat food. It's just something they do. They can enjoy food. They can, have a, thing like that, but they don't need to do it because, like I said, A, Wonder Woman is immortal, and B, Superman metabolizes sunlight, so he doesn't need to eat food if he doesn't want to, right? Yeah. That's just one of those. But anyway. Let's talk about this issue. I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to read a little bit of the article from Screen Rant. People go, Screen Rant. I agree. Screen Rant's terrible. However, all I need is to read this to give you an idea of what they're going for. And what's going to happen here, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of a spoiler. The problem we're going to run into this is that Tom King is using the there must always be a Lich King argument.
No.
And if you know anything about that, I will explain it when the time comes. But that's kind of where we're going with this. So, to give you the summary, Diana Prince's heroism in Wonder Woman 10 introduces a dark twist that mirrors Batman and Joker's complex relationship. And I like how they say, DC establishes a cosmic connection between Wonder Woman and Cheetah, similar to the link between Batman and Joker. Okay, DC did not establish anything. Tom King established this. And he's still wrong, because there is no cosmic link between Batman and Joker. Yes, they are connected in the fact that Batman, does his thing and Joker does his thing, and they always have to do the dance, right? That doesn't mean it's cosmically linked. Batman could kill Joker and it would be over, but because of Batman's code, he will not do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, continuing. Wonder Woman and Cheetah break the cycle of violence. Now here it is, guys. Here it is. This is where Tom King's fetish comes in. Are you ready? Wonder Woman and Cheetah break the cycle of violence and potentially set up a legendary enemies to lovers story arc.
Are you fucking kidding me?
The fuck?
Oh my god. It makes sense
Right?
what I was seeing on Twitter. It makes
sizzle me
sense.
timbers.
Holy shit, it makes sense now.
Why you're so mad? Everyone's so
Oh
mad.
god.
Oh, I love coming in and causing chaos.
I'm gonna just say this right now. First off, if you're gonna create a cosmic connection between Wonder Woman and anybody, it's almost like she's already connected to the Greek fucking gods.
Yes.
For the love of Pete,
Man.
man.
Was birthed by goddesses.
It's like
He has no
connect her-
father.
Yeah, so you can connect her cosmically to Ares, to well, any asshole in the
Right.
Greek. I almost said the Greek Parthenon. All the Greek gods. It's just it's somebody you can connect them cosmically through that.
Yeah.
Cheetah? Fucking really?
Well, don't worry. I will get into that.
Why Cheetah?
Because he's a furry.
Well, that's the thing. It's like this whole thing sounds like furry lesbian fan fiction.
Oh, trust me. Here
If
we
you
go.
wanna see that, go
Alright,
to
wait.
Rule 34, any furry
Hold
website.
on. Are you suggesting that Tom King is a horny housewife that's writing what he wants to see?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
These are the things that I want to happen to me. But Tom, none of these are about you. I know.
Can people stop writing their porn
Look,
in major works of fiction?
he's already pretended to be a CIA agent, okay? Now he just wants to pretend to be a lesbian cheetah woman.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Why can't people just write their porn on WhatsApp?
Not
And
to
just
Right.
keep
mention,
it there.
I'm a
Dr. Pavel, I'm lesbian. She wasn't alone.
Oh God.
Okay. So, if you don't mind, I'll read a little bit more of this
Well,
article.
I was just gonna say one last thing.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Is that Diana ain't even the hottest Amazon. That goes to
Artemis?
Artemis. Yeah.
Yeah, you're Artemis, aren't you? Yeah.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
pretty-
Oh yeah. Redheads, man. But
Now, Donna's pretty hot, too, but she's also just a clone of... Basically looks exactly like Wonder Woman. But,
Yeah.
just a foot shorter.
not to mention, I just think Artemis has a cooler costume. To be honest,
She
with you.
does. She does.
Then again, this is just coming from a guy. I really liked Scott Lobdell's Red Hood and the Outlaws. It was such a good comic book.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah,
But anyway,
there's
continue into the madness.
I'll let Xavier say his thing, then I'll get going. Go ahead.
I don't think it would matter in the continuity where Wonder Woman is a position that is competed for amongst the Amazons. You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that the implements are, subject to change hands if need be, so. But anyway. And like I said, I want to remind you, when I read this, remember, this is from Screen Rant, so anything that sounds weird, that's why. Okay, so DC has permanently enriched Wonder Woman's lore by introducing a dark consequence to her heroism that echoes a common trope seen in Batman and Joker's relationship. Fortunately for Diana Prince, though, it appears the Amazon warrior won't be trapped in the endless cycle of violence that ensnares the Dark Knight and the Clown Prince of Crime. Various comics and other media have supported the idea that Joker only exists because of Batman, creating a catch-22 for Gotham's protector when it comes to ending the Clown's havoc. However, it seems that Joker and Batman aren't unique in their paradoxical relationship. DC has recently revealed that Barbara Cheetah Minerva only exists because of Wonder Woman, mirroring Joker's relationship with Batman. This revelation occurs in Tom King's, Daniel Sampere, and Tamu More's Wonder Woman number 10, where the Sovereign specifically states, "If there is a Wonder Woman, there must also be a cheetah."
This is
Mike.
so stupid.
Mike.
That hurt.
Mike.
Mm.
No king shall rule forever.
Oh God.
Oh
There
no!
will always be a Lich King.
Oh no!
Except for those 10,000 years when there wasn't a fucking Lich King.
He was sleeping.
Oh.
Oh, he wasn't even
So
sleeping.
long as there is a Superman, there will always be a Toy man.
Yeah, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
So, let me explain. Oh wait, that would take too long. Let me sum up. Uh, to explain what I say there must always be a Lich King. For those who have never played World of Warcraft, the Lich King is basically an undead controller of. He controls the undead, right? And that's why they call him the Lich King, because King of Liches, blah blah blah, whatever. The character was only established in recent lore, as they say. Like in game time, it would be like in the last 20 years, right?
yeah.
By the end of Wrath of the Lich King, which was the World of Warcraft expansion where you finally get to fight the Lich King, by the end of that, for some reason, just to set up some other storylines and to try to figure out they wrote themselves in a corner with all these undead running around. If you don't have a Lich King, the undead will just run around rampantly because the Lich King controls them and keeps them at bay. And I'm like, okay, two things. One, makes no sense because the two previous Lich Kings were evil as fuck, so why would they try to keep them at bay, right? And two, there wasn't always a Lich King. I could see it if it was like something where, since time immemorial, there was always a Lich King, right? There was always something there that controlled and held back the undead, but that's not the case. It was a recent discovery, right?
Look, man, the undead are here now. They're not going home. You're just gonna have to deal with them.
Well, just
Yeah,
put some traps out.
So basically, anybody who played Warcraft 3 is going to look at that and go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Because that's part of the plot of Warcraft 3 is Arthas becoming the Lich King.
Yeah. He gets summoned by Ner'zhul, who was at the time that he was inhabiting the armor of the Lich King, and saying, "Come and fulfill your destiny. Become a part of me." And that's what he did. They merged their spirits, and they became the full bound by God Lich King, And then, but after that, it's like, no, you don't understand. You got to put on the helmet, which the helmet had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and not to mention, if I recall correctly, like when he found the fucking helmet, it was like encased in ice. It'd been there for a while.
Yeah, he had to break it open to get the armor out. And he had to break it open because the primary, like somebody said, the primary power came from the sword. But that's whatever. I'm trying to make the point that that's the logic that we're going with. Like, there must always be a Lich King. If there's a Wonder Woman, there must also be a cheetah. How many Wonder Women have there been?
I was about to say, like, so how many cheetahs are running around? It's one of those things where it's like trying to tie. If you're going to tie characters together through some sort of a cosmic means, there needs to be something that makes sense there. Batman and the Joker. The argument with that, you could go back to Under the Red Hood. Yeah, where Jason basically talks about the fact that his theory, because I think that's what they're pulling from when they say that, is that because Bruce will not kill him, he's going to keep getting out, he's going to kill more people. Right. And this man has filled entire graveyards, and you are letting him, keep getting out. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, that it goes into Batman's philosophy. Yeah. The thing is, that's
Bruce is the ultimate optimist.
There's that, but there's also the fact that that's a commentary not on anything cosmic. It's just a commentary on the potential inevitability of having a no-kill rule. Yeah. Because it seems like every time that the Joker has ever died in something, it was somebody else who offs him. In a good example would be in the DC animated universe. I believe it's Tim who kills him, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Tim kills him in that universe, but the link there makes sense because of cause and effect. It's the same thing with, and they don't even do that with Venom and Spider-Man anymore. Because Venom has effectively, he's an anti-hero now. He's become an Avenger, for God's sake. Like he's basically a superhero now. Which is weird to think about because I grew up with him being a villain and an anti-hero. But They don't do that with like Spider-Man and the Green Goblin. You know, it's one of those things where it's like there's no cosmic connection. Norman just really hates Peter Parker.
Yeah.
It's that simple. If you're gonna connect somebody cosmically, like you have to find some sort of a common bond between them. Loki and Thor make sense. They're brothers. You know, something like that. The Silver Surfer feuding with anybody who has been a Herald of Galactus. That's an easy link because you have Galactus himself.
Yeah.
Doing this with Wonder Woman and Cheetah is just like... I understand trying to make Cheetah more relevant because as time has gone on, she has become less and less interesting when it comes to Wonder Woman villains. But, man, there are such better ways to do it, but I guess Tom King just ain't the guy to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've said, I've said this before, like, I think a more potent villain for Diana would be Giganta. You know, like, she's not like, in normal mode, she's not like in Diana's class, but, she gets about 50 feet tall, you can smack her around a little bit,
Yeah.
But
I have the opinion that, like, Cheetah got supplanted by Ares years ago.
Yeah, I would say that's true. So to continue, for context, the Sovereign, I don't even know who the Sovereign is. Sorry, somebody Tom King made as a self-insert. Because that's what he does,
Yeah.
The Sovereign's narration begins with him noting that Barbara was the first to be cursed with the Cheetah moniker and appearance. There were two predecessors, Priscilla Rich, the first Cheetah in DC Comics, and Deborah Debbie Domain, Priscilla's niece. He then states that it matters little who specifically is Cheetah. The key takeaway is that the gods have decided that if there is a Wonder Woman, there must also be a Cheetah. This clearly establishes a cosmic connection between Wonder Woman and Cheetah, similar to the link between Batman and Joker. However, unlike Batman and Joker, Diana and Barbara have managed to break their endless cycle of violence, as shown in Wonder Woman number 10. The two initially fight, but after some much-needed conversation, because, we just talk out our feelings now, right? They are able to not only put their rivalry to rest, but also become allies. Moreover, King might be setting up the two characters for something beyond allyship and friendship. The issue is heavily imbued with women who love women themes, suggesting that Wonder Woman and Cheetah may soon enter a romantic relationship, creating a legendary enemies to lovers story arc for these iconic characters.
Yeah, I know we hate each other, but do you want to smash clams?
Oh, no.
The most evil
Basically,
thing I can
every
do to you,
lesbian
Wonder Woman, is to clam jam you. What? No! Means no! Ah, you rotten bitch.
Let's see. Cheetah only exists because of Wonder Woman, putting a twist on their famous theory that Joker only exists because of Batman. No, I mean, kind of gone over that.
So, really quick, what's Cheetah's origin?
It depends. Like, usually it's like, I believe it's science-based, right?
Yeah, she bites off way too much more than she can chew, and then she ends up being turned into a furry.
Yeah. So it's not like, she gets turned into, like, by, godly intervention or something. I mean, it'd be one thing if, like, like Micah mentioned earlier about Ares, and he's just like, hey, you want to see some cool bullshit? Watch this. And he's like, hey, you. And he looks at a woman, it's like, huh? And he turns her into a cheetah woman. Now go fight Wonder Woman. I don't know why, but I must do this now. So.
Okay, according to Google search here, in the original continuity, when she was Priscilla Rich, she was just a woman in a cheetah costume with personality issues.
God, that's even worse. I mean, like that has nothing. That's just somebody who's crazy.
Okay, we're getting a little too autistic right out of the gate. So let's we need to fast forward it to the current Cheetah. It's looking like it was as time went on, it was either science or magical. As of Rebirth, so this would be the most recent one. So she's still a scientist, and she found, let's see here,
Plant God.
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah, so
Turned her into
it's
a cheetah
super
to make her his bride.
Yeah, it's supernatural now. So this is a character that has gone through a bunch of different origin stories. There's been several different cheetahs. Some of them have been scientific. Some of them have been... I feel like what he's trying to do is he's trying to do the arc that JMS did with Spider-Man, with turning him into a totem. 'Cause
Yeah.
remember how Marvel had this thing where there's certain characters with animal motifs, they're a totem, for that specific animal. Spider-Man for spiders, the Black Panther for the Black Panther, so on and so forth. So that kind of feels like what he's trying to do here, and it just doesn't work.
The only thing they have in common in this iteration of the continuity is that Diana is created by the gods, and apparently this version of Cheetah was created by the gods. That's it.
So, essentially,
This will make that idea work, but for a different character. If you need to have a character that's cosmically connected to one, I would go with one that's the most similar to her, which would be Grell. I think that was her name. Darkseid's Amazon daughter.
yeah, it would have more. It would have more connection.
Both of them are Amazons. Both of them are birthed by gods. Grell is the literal daughter of Darkseid. One of them was birthed by the Greek pantheon.
It'd be a little bit more cosmic, since you're getting into like new gods.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Overall, because we do need to move on, I kind of feel like this is just one of those things where Tom King is an expert in overthinking an angle and putting himself in a position where he pleases no one except himself.
Yeah.
And considering it seems like he's wanting to go for gay furry fucking fan fiction in Wonder Woman, I think we know exactly how he's trying to please himself.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you guys want to be actually pleased by comic books, Grindstone Arts does have stuff available for purchase, pre-order, what have you. As you can see on the video version of this, and of course those of you who are listening to the audio version, Black Rhapsody by our lovely Serena here is still available on Indiegogo.
Yes, it is still available if you like magical girls and violence, or just the dark mahou shoujo genre in general. Check out Black Rhapsody.
Yes. Then, of course, my novella, American Monsters, is still available. We will be fulfilling this and Inglewood Book 2 very soon. American Monsters is the prequel to an upcoming comic book by Grindstone called Project Lazarus. It basically talks about how America experimented on human beings to create super soldiers in the sleeveless universe, which this is basically a prequel to my comic book Inglewood. And then, of course, 3 Nights, 4 Days, another prequel to my comic book Inglewood. This is a book that's going to take a little bit longer to come out because, of course, as some people know, we had money stolen from us. So the funds for this comic book have basically been, taken by some, goofy Russian kid or some bullshit. I don't even fucking know. But regardless, it's about 3 knights coming back from the crusade to find a city that they lived in, completely besieged by demons and cultists, and they have to kill them in very gory and fun ways. So definitely one to pick up. And then, of course, Inglewood Book 2 will be fulfilling sometime late August, early September. It is about a superhero, former MMA star, coming back to the city of Chicago to clean up the gangs with fist and foot and all sorts of fun implements. Links to all this stuff are going to be in the descriptions, both if you're listening to this on podcast networks or if you're watching the YouTube version of this particular podcast. And we thank all of you for supporting us so far. The last quick update we do have is that we do also have 2 other books that are in production right now, as in pages are being done. Black Rhapsody Book 2 is actually in production right now, with some changes up, a new artist, a new editor, yours truly. And then, of course, some of you may not know this, some of you might not. The YouTuber Almighty Lolly is working with us now, and he has a book that he's working on called Cyberpop, which is a cyberpunk story that has elements of J-horror in it. And I'm the editor on that book as well, and we have picked up an artist on it on top of that. And concept work was actually being done the same day that we're recording this, and it's looking really good right out of day one. So, a lot of great stuff from us to keep in mind. So, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. Helldivers. So, how many of us played Helldivers on launch? I did.
I did.
I did not.
I did not either. I can't play anything right now, but it is. I read about the discourse and all that good stuff.
Yep.
I'm always suspicious for
I've
anything
seen
that.
viewers play it.
Oh goodness. I mean, that's probably the safest way to play it right now, considering the owners. Ugh.
Yeah. Let's say, well, Xavier can back me up when I say that Helldivers 2 is a very good video game. It is very well put together. It's a lot of fun to sit with your friends and just blow bugs up or blow robots up. And right out of the gate, when Helldivers 2 first came out, on PC, it had close to, I think, or it had over 500,000 players at that point in time, and it kept climbing as it went on after they fixed their initial server issues.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the most well-regarded video games on the net. What helped it, oddly enough, is the fact that it went toe-to-toe with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, which, of course, that game tanked because it was a live service game that was largely just not well put together. It had a story that nobody liked, and they were asking a lot for very little in one of the ugliest games ever made. Helldivers, on the other hand, didn't want $70. It only wanted $40. And you could play with your friends on the PSN or on PC. It was really easy to drop in and out of missions. The aesthetics were great. It reminded a lot of people, of course, of Starship Troopers. It had a very interesting art design. And on top of that, it had a very active community. There were a lot of memes being thrown around. I mean, this is, for those of you who are Warhammer 40k fans, within the first week of Helldivers existing, they had their own Cadia stands moment. Like, quite literally, I believe the planet was called Malevelon Creek. And they're like, what happened is that the same thing that happened in Cadia and 40k basically happened here, although with no warp, just robots. Where people were still fighting for it, even though the planet had fallen. So of course the meme goes around that Malevelon Creek fell before the Helldivers did. Because for those who don't know, the meme for 40k is Cadia fell before the guard did.
No, it was the planet broke before the guard did because the planet cracked in half.
Oh, that's right. So, now Malevelon Creek did crack in half, but it's a similar scenario, and it got people excited. And oddly enough, I remember when we finally got to a point where we could go back to Malevelon Creek and start fighting there. Like, I immediately did that with my lead mod, Brain. Brain and I immediately went to Malevelon. We're like, we're going in there. We're taking this fucking planet back, bitch. And just started blowing up robots. And it was a blast. You felt like you were part of a universe with this. Then Sony came in. And Sony did Sony things.
Oh, goodness. At the beginning there, they didn't add the requirement for a Sony account because there was issues with adding it to the PC platform. So they got away with it for, 6 months?
Yeah.
About 6 months. And then Sony was like, starts tapping their watch and like, where's our account? Our investors are antsy. Show us the numbers. Give us the numbers, Mason. And here they finally were forced to add it. Which led to the worst fucking time that the Helldivers 2 devs had to ever deal with.
Yep, and you can actually see it in real time because the average players were basically cut in half. You're expected to have a decline in player base as time goes on. Their average player base at launch back in February was around over 250,000 on average playing at any time. It is now down to under 40K. Now that drop off is expected when it comes to stuff like that. Like, let me pull up the Steam charts for Baldur's Gate 3. So Baldur's Gate 3 came out, the official release was last year. I don't remember the exact date. Oh, I found it. August of last year. Peaked at 875K. But now about, like, their average is about 60,000. There's more people playing Baldur's Gate 3 right now, a single-player RPG, than there are people playing Helldivers 2 on PC. The drop-off is nuts. And it gets even crazier, because it kind of seemed like there was a time where you couldn't go on YouTube and there wasn't some crazy fucking story about something going on with Helldivers. Like, the head of the company got replaced, which of course put everybody in an uncertain position because he was the guy who basically built all of this. And then on top of that, and I'm curious if somebody in here knows the story better than me, they had a furry problem.
The moderators are... oh my goodness, they were absolute furries. The worst degenerates. The type that flaunted their status openly. And they mocked the community by, like, approving weird furry, like, art, Helldivers 2 art, and putting it in the Discord. And then they started to ban people who posted, like, vomiting emojis on that particular image. And then when they started getting backlash for that, they responded by just destroying the ability to even emoji at all. It was ridiculous. And yeah, it just spiraled out of control. They just had the... It turns out that what the issue was is that they were originally, like, Tumblr, or I should say Redditors, which, forgive me for saying, but it entirely explains their moderator behavior, because they're treating the Discord as if it was their own personal Reddit, or even a public Reddit. Because if you don't know about the way Reddit works, is that they don't pay their mods, they pay them with power. And it turns out there's a lot of petty tyrants on Reddit, and it's only gotten worse as traffic has dwindled away from Reddit, and traffic has dwindled away from the Discord here, because they keep treating it like their own private fiefdom, and it's awful what these furries have been doing in the moderators and the DEI obsessed moderating staff as well, in the foreground, trying to just push all sorts of real world politics into the Discord, in spite of the developers' wishes.
Yeah, because, and this is something that, like, it's a philosophy for our company, and I imagine more companies are probably, thinking similar things, is, at the end of the day, politics do not matter when you play video games or read comics or things like that. They can inspire, of course, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Helldivers is satirically mocking jingoism. But that's part of the fun, is, like, everybody's in on the joke. It's sort of the same thing with Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers is the exact same thing. The movie, not the book. And with this particular scenario, we find ourselves with a company that, like nobody wants to think about Joe Biden while they're playing Helldivers. I mean, granted, most people don't want to think about Joe Biden anyway, but especially when you're playing Helldivers.
Let me tell you something.
I remember the meme polices during Helldiver's height, where it's like, haha, it's all fun and games to joke and let's go kill for democracy. and Super Earth needs us, but let's all remember, space fascism is really bad. You shouldn't celebrate it in real life. Like, the fucking killjoys. They're like, we all know you can't tell the difference between fiction and reality because we can't. So we know you can't. And remember, this thing is bad. So while you're yucking it up, remember, thing bad.
Yeah, and these
God,
are
I hated those people.
They are the fucking worst. Because it's like, look, can we have fun, please? Why is fun so hard? It's something that will always mystify me. It's something I will never completely understand. Because, and we see it everywhere, by the way. Like, I know we're bagging on one particular political aisle with that, but it's true on both. Because for every moron that's doing 3-hour bread tube bullshit, there's another moron who's uploading 3 10-minute videos a day whining about how, like, this syrup is woke or some bullshit, So
it gets so irritating.
Yeah, it's like I've had this position. People got mad at me for it in my Witcher Mercury video. Look, both sides suck because none of them want to enjoy what they have, and or highlight the good things that are out there. None of them do. They just want to bitch all the time. Nobody likes that person. Nobody hangs out with that person. Because the only people that hang out with people like that are other miserable people. And though it can make for some funny lol cows, it's like, go away. And that I feel like is sort of like the last offense that Helldivers 2 is going to have until they mix something up in that company to bring players back in. Because nobody wants to deal with playing something where they can't have fun with it.
Plus, also kicking out 90% of the planet is probably a bad business idea. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. Oh, God. So, yeah, needless to say, it's sad to see, because I really liked Helldivers 2. But, man, it's unfortunate, but such is the way of being stupid. Speaking of stupid, vegans.
Awful.
Terrible.
I hate it already.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if this is going to be a regular thing for us, or if this is just something that we do every other week or whatever. But every once in a while, we see dumb stuff on the internet that just makes you go, what the actual fuck? So, do you guys follow the account on Twitter, Community Notes Violating People?
I do.
I had not heard of it today.
It's, to sum it up, it's okay. So it just takes screenshots of like the absolute best community notes that pop up on Twitter, or shitter, I guess, if you're using the Chinese pronunciation.
Nah.
And it's absurd. It's so good. I just love them. Fantastic. And oh goodness, I'm rambling, unfortunately. But yeah, it's good. I love it.
Yeah, like for example, there's one here that says, the original tweet is, "Happy Zoo Pride Month. Celebrate by being kind, attentive, and loving to an animals near you." The editor and me immediately is going, well, that and like the fact that these people want to fuck animals, but the community note says, July is not Zoo Pride Month. It is considered to be Disability Pride Month. Zoo Pride Month is not considered a real thing and is simply an attempt by zoophiles to try and normalize the act of bestiality, aka animal sexual assault. I love that. Like, community notes are my favorite thing on Twitter right now. Yeah, like, there's a lot of people that are on Twitter that promote crazy things that need to be fed into a wood chipper. But like, this is the great thing about community notes is you're effectively feeding bad tweets into a community wood chipper just by telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Like I fucking love community notes.
The best
But-
part to me is that, considering it started out as like, Twitter when it was, under the control of the board, as it were, before Elon bought it, was that, community notes was not community notes. It was a 5 or 6 people who decided what was real and what was not real,
Yeah.
Once Elon took it over and says, no, community notes is now community notes, keyword, right? It will not be just 5 or 6 people. It's going to be whoever wants to sign up and help get these things straightened out. And it has been one of the most glorious changes to happen to Twitter since he purchased it, because it is so nice to see people do their standard, I'm going to say this thing is true, even though it's bullshit, and it get immediately fucking called out.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
I love it.
So let me make the whatchamacallit. Let me give the information here on what exactly went on. So Mr. Beast went on to for those who don't know, Mr. Beast is like one of the most popular YouTubers ever. Might be the most popular. He has 298 million subscribers. The video in question came out 8 days ago and already has 78 million fucking views on it. It's a lot of cash being brought in by this dude. And the story for what's going on here is that he took 100 people that needed homes and built them homes in a different I believe it was in Africa. Which, for those of you who do not know,
South America.
Oh, South America. I had a whole spiel about Africa prepared. That goes out the window. But still, for people in a poorer country that otherwise are not going to have quality or even halfway decent housing, and just takes money and builds them, and he does stuff like this all the time. Like another time he paid for people to have cataract surgery, which is only $1,000. I say only like it's that easy to get $1,000, but a relatively inexpensive for some people surgery. But there are people out there that can't get it, and he allowed for this to happen, and he paid for it out of pocket. And lo and behold, now those people have vision they wouldn't have otherwise. He just does stuff like this all the time, and oddly enough, oddly enough, like I would figure that if vegans were pissed at Mr. Beast, it would be like the substandard hamburgers, but. I say that I've never eaten one. It's just a joke, folks. Don't kill me. But some person on the Twitter that goes by the handle of that vegan healer says, and I quote, "Mr. Beast is once again displaying his white savior complex while looking like a literal colonizer." Now, the avatar of this person is a white anime character. Just saying.
Make it hurt. Come on.
But, but on top of that, here's the community note. It says, Mr. Beast built 100 houses for people in need that would not have a roof to sleep under. At no point in his video does he colonize a country. The revenue generated by these videos is spent on more charity projects. It is also worth noting that this user has never built a home.
Get wrecked.
And by the way, shout out to Chaos Sonic, a long listener of Mike and the Hat Man, fan of our books. Very much appreciate you, buddy, wherever you are. He sent this to me. He goes, "This is also the same person that killed her cat for being a cat."
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah,
that
listen
was
to this.
fucked.
Listen to this.
What?
She
Yeah,
said, so
you're gonna
here's
love
the tweet.
this.
Yeah, let me read it. My cat Snow, who was vegan for her entire life, which no, ate my hamster while I wasn't home. As a cat lover, I'm devastated. I don't think I'll ever own a cat again. On my way to the vet right now to have her euthanized. And I'm bawling my eyes out. It hurts. Goodbye, Snow. Yeah, she fucking gets her cat killed for eating her hamster. Here's an idea, dummy. Don't leave a predator in the same room with prey!
Well,
That cat must have been. She had mentioned it was a vegan cat. That cat was fucking starving.
Well, it gets better.
Cats can't live that vegan lifestyle. They have to have red meat.
Yeah.
Cats are what they call obligate carnivores.
Yeah.
They have to have it in their diet. They'll get into shit. They'll snack on a watermelon or whatever's out because they're cats.
They'll eat cheese. They'll eat bread.
Yeah, because they're cats are a lot of things, but one thing that we can all agree on, that cats can be fucking stupid.
Yes.
I have 4 of them. I'm well aware of how dumb they can be, but
yeah.
When I heard that, I'm like, so you're euthanizing a cat for being a cat. Like,
it's great because the death of the cat is not great. This person needs to be punted as hard as humanly possible. It says here, the context added is, this statement that the cat was vegan for her entire life is misleading. Cats, if given the choice, would never resort to a vegan lifestyle since they have no moral compass and also simply biologically cannot only eat vegetables.
this is
You're essentially starving that cat.
Basically, I mean,
Yeah.
this is not the first time we have seen this. Some of you might remember Vegan Gains.
Oh God.
Well, that's sociopath.
Are we going to bring up my one of my favorite powerlifters? I'm not powerlifters, strongmen in this situation.
The Eddie Hall situation?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that was infuriating. But no, I'm talking about when he tried to have a dog on a vegan diet.
Yes, I remember that.
And then they gave the dog away because it was emaciated and shit. It's like, dude, like it. You don't know who I feel bad for
People
anytime
should
when it
not
comes
have
to.
pets.
No,
Yeah.
they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. Or just have. Do not get a pet that is not an herbivore if you are a vegan.
Yeah.
But
And if you
don't
think
be
that
surprised if I'm for real. Don't be surprised if a rabbit just wants to eat its babies, because that's what'll happen if you don't properly give it nutrition.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is the thing is. And this is one of the most annoying things to me, is these crazy vegans have no concept of how nature works at all. Like, it's wild to me. Like, I saw an interview with Vegan Games on Turkey Tom's channel where he doesn't think that there is a necessity for predators in the wild.
I have heard so many crackpot fucking plans from vegans to destroy all predators so that way they don't have to eat meat.
Yeah, it's
And,
like how dumb is you?
Why are
You know?
vegans off their shit?
That's the thing. 'Cause you want to know who I feel really bad for in all of this? The VTuber Ceres Fauna. Because she's a vegan, and she's actually a really nice person, it seems.
Can we get a clarification here? Can I say this real quick? Because I would like to do a reclassification, if you will.
Okay.
How can we call people who are not crazy vegetarians and the ones that are crazy vegans? Because that seems to be a decline. At some point there was a line of declination, and
So there is a reason why we can't. There is actually a reason why we can't. Because there are differences between the two diets.
Mm-hmm.
A vegetarian will eat some animal byproduct, but never meat specifically. So they will have milk, they will have cheese, things along those lines. No, they won't have eggs, because eggs is a meat.
I thought because it's not doing any harm to an animal product.
It
No,
depends on the vegetarian type, because there's pescatarians, and then the ones that only eat fish, and then you'll have the only ones that'll eat eggs.
Yeah, because there's some there is a difference between the two ultimately, and yeah, there, like Mike said, there's subcategories too. So sadly, the term vegan has to exist. It just seems like, and this is just, I just feel very frustrated for the people that are vegans that are really nice people. Like I mentioned, Fauna is one of them. There's been others I've met in my personal life that are super nice people that
there's
do
some
not.
people that have to live that lifestyle for health reasons or
Yeah,
just ethical reasons, which is fine.
exactly. And
Like-
ultimately it's your life and it's your diet. You choose how you live. So, but man, if you're gonna do it, like, don't be this type of psycho that seems to think that like a predator, like a cat, can't eat meat. It's just no. Like, please pay attention in biology class is what I'm asking. Please pay attention.
Well,
Stop being
those
so
people
stupid.
also have a weird tendency to feel that being vegan makes them better than you because you're not vegan.
Yeah, there is that.
I don't know. I feel great when I eat steak. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Not to
I
mention,
cannot live without my fried chicken.
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I love chicken so fucking much. Chicken and turkey, like,
But
just are my jam.
When you brought up vegan gains, though, I think I remember clearly where he basically said on a vegan diet he could lift just as much as any strongman.
That's a lie.
No, that's physically impossible.
And both Brian Shaw and Eddie Hall said, "Okay, let's do it." And they even said they would do equivalency. You don't have to lift the exact weight because let's be honest, Eddie Hall holds the record for world. Legitimately, and I say that for a reason. Legitimately holds the world record for biggest deadlift. Right?
Well, no, he doesn't have it anymore.
Legitimately, I'm not. I don't count Thor.
Oh, he has in competition.
Okay, that's what I mean. I don't count Thor's because he did it in his home gym, and we don't have to prove that was real. Anyway,
Yeah.
And of course, Brian Shaw is the 4-time world's strongest man. So these are not men who were take that lightly, and they're saying, prove it to us. We'll do an equivalency if you can. On the equivalent, like weight distribution, things like that, and you can lift it. He couldn't do it. There's no way he could do that. Like even doing it that way, right? Because your muscles need protein to be able to do feats like that. That's why those guys eat so fucking much. I get that. Yes, you can do some replacement with plants and things like that. You can get some nutrition and there is some protein here and there, but you're not getting the protein like you get from meat. Meat is protein packed, and there's a reason for that. And that's why when you want to build muscle, you have to be on high protein.
Yeah. Because here, like, let me give you guys just an example of this. Like, as Wayne and Xavier can attest to, I'm a very big, very strong guy. These guys watched me lift like over 100 pounds of comic books with only my back strength, like it was nothing. I'm a very large lad.
We also told you not to do that.
Yeah.
I'm fine. But and these guys have also seen me eat. I can put it away. So the big thing for me, like, I remember one time, because you guys probably remember I was on the keto diet, right? And I was having no sugar at all. And I started to pick up back at the gym again. So I go into my overall point of this rant is there are biological realities that cannot be ignored. In this particular case, I went to the gym and they always, like, a lot of gyms do this fucking thing, and I hate it when they do this, where a personal trainer wants to talk to you just to make sure you're serious about coming in, right? So what he has me do is he has me do 3 sets of 30 squats. 3 different types of squats. It was like normal squats, sumo squats, and then I forget the name of what the third one is, but it's the same kind of squats that King from Tekken does in his intro. And I had to do those back to back to back with like a minute of rest between. So high intensity training.
Those seem so uncomfortable.
It's not that bad actually. I'm one of those weirdos. I don't mind squats at all. Squatting, like I
No,
was
meant
one
the
of
king
those.
squat. Those are comfortable.
Well, there's one
If
way
you
for
don't-
men. There's one way for men. It can be very uncomfortable. Wear very tight underwear. I'll just put it that way.
Oh,
Yeah, like so. But so I did that, and I sat down, and I'm like, whew, I'm really winded. I was not expecting that. I'm like, this is some good training. And the trainer looks at me and he goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, now that you mention it, I'm a little dizzy. And he goes, "Well, the reason I ask is that your skin has gone pale white, and so have your lips are starting to turn blue."
ooh.
And I'm like, "Oh, shit." And he's like, "You're on a no sugar diet, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he sits down with me. He gives me a sugar pill, and he says, "Look, take this." And I took it, drank a bit of water. Give me about 5 minutes later, I felt fine. But he's like, "You cannot, as somebody who is training and exercising, you cannot not have sugar. You can't not have carbs, because your body is going to break these things down as you exercise." It's like, he's like, same thing with not having protein. You can't not do that. And this is sort of the same thing, is that the way that the body works is there are some nutrients and some things that we just can't go without. And if you try to deprive an animal of this, it never ends well. And the other problem I have with vegans is like the whole thing of like saying that like eating meat is inhumane. I'm going to tell you this right now, motherfucker. The way human beings kill and eat cows compared to a fucking wolf, you don't even know what nature is not humane, bitch. You ever seen a Komodo dragon eat something?
They eat it whole.
Yeah.
If they can.
While it's still alive.
Let's see. I've seen footage of like wolves taking down like deer and stuff and going for the butthole and then tearing that out while they're still alive and then chowing on the insides while they're doing things. When you say it is
my
inhumane
God.
to eat meat, you're absolutely correct. It is. Everything eats meat. Like rabbits will eat meat, deer will eat meat, horses will chomp down on chickens if they get a chance, if they don't give them salt. It's a biological inevitability because there's absolutely very few obligate herbivores. Like sloths are obligate herbivores, but they also move at like sloth speed.
Yeah, donkeys will eat snakes, for example. They see a snake and they'll somebody said one time, you want to get rid of snakes in your area, get a donkey. They'll tear them up and eat them. And eat them whole too, like nom 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 nom. Eat them like a noodle. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, but and they said they're more likely to do it if like Mike said, there's a lack of salt because they're trying to get that salt from something. So it and also like I believe donkeys are also the best wolfers too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They'll kill a wolf. It's great.
It's one of those things where like, and this is one thing. It's like however you choose to have your diet is completely up to you, man. And I've had vegan dishes before that were pretty fucking tasty, I won't lie. But when it comes right down to it, you can't expect the world to adhere to your diet of all things. Like
right.
And when you act like this, nobody wants to be around you. So please stop being so fucking stupid.
I saw one the other day, just to get a quick point, and it was a situation where this lady was making a whole video, like a good 20-minute video about Asmongold eating his $2 steak, right?
Yeah.
Because like a couple weeks before that, he did a video where it was kind of a little jokey thing where he got together with some people at a BlizzCon, and they brought out some animals that you would see in Warcraft, like a chipmunk or something like that, right? And of course, he was like, these are because they're zoo, usually zoo animals. So they've been handled by humans, so they behave differently. They'll come up to you and things like that. So he was being like, hey, little guy, things like that. And then she was, lambasting him to say, how come he can act like that, but then when he eats a steak, he doesn't have any sympathy for the cow. It's like, you wouldn't eat a chipmunk. I was like, well, guess what? If the chipmunk was the only thing left there, I'm eating it.
I'm just gonna say this right now. Clearly, she's never gone down to Arkansas.
Right.
I'd eat squirrel. I'd eat raccoon, deer.
I think I've had gator and snake.
I've had venison before. It's good.
Venison's great.
But but the whole thing is like, you're taking something that more than likely came from an animal that was, to be processed for that purpose, and comparing it to a zoo animal. Like, one of these things is not like the other. And that's always their go-to, right? That, it's either you're a terrible person for eating meat, or you wouldn't eat Bobo, your dog, would you? Or, something like that. And I'm like, well, no, because that's a different situation, right?
He's people.
Yeah. It's like, like, oh, you would eat your cat. No, but I would share my steak with my cat because I'm sure he would love it.
Yeah.
That said, in a disaster situation where meat is scarce and you don't know where it's coming from, I will not eat my pets. I will look at the local wildlife.
I mean, that's been done since since time immemorial, right? Like, not it wasn't every day that a hunt, during hunter gathering times that you could get a deer. You might have to get the squirrel or the chipmunk or whatever. You got something. And think about that. Did the cavemen, did they go out like hunting for berries and things like that? Well, I mean, they'd eat berries that they could find them, but if the predominant thing was to get some meat, they would get some meat.
Oh yeah.
Hell, I remember as a kid, like, they weren't even afraid to shy away from that in like kids shows. Like, there's a episode of Adventures of Pete and Pete where little Pete, just for some reason, he just started living outside and he refused to come inside. And there's a fucking barbecue later, and he's making his dad make a squirrel burrito for him.
Yeah,
like, he's literally outside living off the land. It's suburbia.
That's how it was, and just look. And I'll say this right now: if I had a list of options of how to die, like one of the ways that they kill cattle is they drive. I think it's like some sort of like a pneumatic press, like into the head, instantly kills them.
Yeah, an air gun.
It's like an air gun. Like, it's like a bullet to the brain, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The way that some butchers like used to do it is they would just one nick of the carotid artery.
Yeah.
Or one of the major arteries in the animal just dies.
Yeah.
If I have that option, or I have getting torn apart while I'm still alive, I'll take the air gun, thank you.
Yeah, punch me in the head, right? Like, just do it, right?
Yeah, like that. Just no. And this is just one of those things where it's like, look, I understand. Like, again, if you don't want to eat animals for your own personal reasons, that's fine. Please don't be a dick to those of us who love some goddamn fried chicken or brisket.
Yeah, it's just
because I swear to God, on Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm gonna make some really good combination fried rice. One of you vegans shows up to my doorstep, I'm gonna eat you too.
just stir them in the pot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have a button.
Yeah.
Hit the button.
I'm gonna press this button because vegans, dude, just fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck them.
Oh goodness! All right, folks. We have come to the end of our little journey together this week for On the Grind.
It's been a long road getting from there to here.
We have learned. I think if there's one thing that I've learned this week is that I wonder if Tom King is a vegan.
Oh, I guarantee you he's a vegan. That guy is a vegan. Like there's no way I can hear it now. But I don't want to hurt the little animals.
We do. Well, I imagine he does not like any Asian food because he doesn't seem to like Asians very much.
Oh.
Oof.
So when it comes right down to it, though, like I've come to the conclusion this week that there's a lot of stupid out there. So if you want to avoid stupidity, at least the first step can be go eat yourself some meat, for God's sake.
Helps your brain.
Exactly. So on that note, guys, as I had mentioned earlier in the show, we still have books available for purchase and pre-order, plus new stuff that is in development, even more than what I had already mentioned. So stay hyped, because that is the best way to live. So, to go ahead and close this out for Serena and Mike and Wayne and Xavier, my name is Micah Curtis, President/CEO/co-owner of Grindstone Arts. Thank you all for watching and listening, and we will see you guys next week.